This is FSPN, the most trusted name in fake news. My name is Frankie from Flatbush, and today we will be talking about the New York Jets, and they suffered a terrible defeat yesterday, Sunday, December the 7th, 2025, at the hands of the terrible, awful, no good Miami Dolphins. So we had so today's Monday, and we had a press conference with Aaron Glenn. And let's bring our talking points onto the screen. On the docket today, Monday morning media sparring, AG against the media. Injury update, none to update. So nothing further on any injuries. We did have a few folks leave the game. So we'll learn more about who's in, who's out on Wednesday. Garrett Wilson is eligible to come off the IR this week. We'll have to see if he makes an appearance at practice or not. Obviously, he was disappointed in the performance, to say the least. One of the things about the performance is that we were in 76 or 77% base. That's very unusual. And on top of that, we used a 5-man front, and by my count, 3 times. So we were heavy and big the whole game. And when we weren't satisfied with that, we went bigger, and we still could not contain the Miami rushing attack, which really tells you something about what a genius Mike McDaniels is. I mean, let's just face it. Mike McDaniels is an offensive genius, and that's all there is to it. And it's a problem that he's in our division. Hopefully they fire him, but he's not getting fired. He's just too good. He's too good. The only chance you have is if when Tua throws you those cookies. You know about Tua, he's going to throw you a cookie or two every game. He threw one to us, threw a couple to us. In the game, that's typical Tua. And we didn't take advantage because we're the Jets and we don't like interceptions, apparently. But he threw them, and that's the way you got to beat Miami. You got to take the cookies Tua throws you, try to contain the running game, but it's going to be hard. They also I saw some videos today about Aaron Brewer, how he might be the best center, one of the best centers in the NFL now. And, he's improving, and look what he's doing here and there and blocking his butt off over there. So congratulations to Mr. Brewer. And, if the Dolphins ever did get an offensive line that could play, boy, would they be dangerous. That's one of the things they've been lacking, in the McDaniel era. And if they ever get consistent line play of the offensive line, look out. So anyway, they outplayed us. But it just, to me, it goes to show, look, if you can't even go heavy and contain a running game, even if you go 5 down line, it just means you need way better players, as we have been saying since the summertime. We're just not good enough. The roster is not good enough. No coach could coach these bums into being good. They stink. We need a full reset of players. Not a full reset, but, we need to restock to where we once were. We need to really, really invest in the defensive line and linebackers, and you can't just hope to get through with a 5th rounder here and a UDFA over there. And no, you need to make substantial investment, free agency, draft into the defense. So that's what we need to do. He did think that Brady Cook was okay, and I would agree with that. We'll take a look at some of the numbers that prove that out. Eye test started out poorly, very poorly, but then he got more comfortable, got going. Now, one of the things about the media, I did notice they asked seven questions about quarterbacks, whether it was Fields or Cooks or Taylor's. Whoever they were asking, 7 questions by this clown media. No matter how much you hate the media, you don't hate it enough. You don't hate these fucking people enough. They're douchebags. Douchebaggery at the highest level of douchebaggery. And the reason they're doing that, they got nothing else to talk about. They need a quarterback controversy to sell some papers, sell some clicks. They're just The biggest asshats. I mean, I think it was Canizero. You can't tell who's asking the questions half the time. That's one policy the Jets could implement, where they ask, before you ask a question, identify who you are and who you work for. The reason you would do that is in case they act up, everybody knows who they are. That might be a good thing. That's not too harsh. That probably no one would they'd have a problem with it, but they wouldn't go crazy. But anyway, so I don't know who said this, but one of our douchebag idiots, in one of his long ramp-up questions, which is one of their tricks, but he described the punt return by Isaiah Williams, which went for a touchdown, as artistic. Oh, it was artistic. Who the fuck are these people? Do they have any background in sports? Any background at all? Do they know what they're talking about at all? Very annoying. Yes, it was an artistic. Yeah, he was painting a painting. He had brushstrokes all over the place. He was writing a novel as he was returning the punt, Mr. Canizero, if that's who you were. Like I said, we don't know who these people are. They get to remain anonymous. Aaron Glenn. And why can't these douchebags, by the way, call our coaches coach? If you watch now, it's interesting because if you watch I watched a press conference with Curt Cignetti, Indiana's head coach. You may have heard of him. Got the job. He sat up there. He said, "You guys might not know me, but I win. Google me." And all he's done is win. Anyway, I watched one of his press conferences. And not all of them, but most of the reporters there call him coach. Hey, coach, what do you think about that? And to me, that's a sign of respect. Because if you asked these douchebags, why don't you call AG coach? Or any of our coaches coach? Why don't you show them that sign of respect? They would say, well, I guarantee you they would say, well, he's not our coach. So it would be inappropriate for us. Okay, explain why the college reporters then, majority, not all of them, majority of them called the coach when he's having a press conference. He's not their coach, so that doesn't fly, in my opinion. The reason is they don't want to show him that respect. They don't want to treat him well. They don't want to make it seem like he's the one worthy of respect, and they are not. They are the ones who are elevated in our society, according to them. And that is why anybody who attacks them significantly gets cut off. They kill they assassinate your character first, and then if that doesn't work, they give you the Andrew Breitbart treatment. So that's just the way it goes. But yeah, an artistic punt return. That's what AG has to deal with. Seven questions about the quarterbacks. He'd already answered the question about we're going to pick the right guy to win. He gave them the answer, and they kept going on and on. 7 questions. I mean, how these? It's really, the way I look at it, I know nobody agrees with me really, but because we're not winning, and so fuck AG and fire AG and all this, but I take the opposite side of it, and I think the media sucks, and the media is at fault for a lot of things, and I sit here in absolute awe, I would say, that nobody ever attacks these guys. No one ever loses their mind and just, but they don't. I don't know. And these people shape the opinions of the public, which then has an effect on their careers. It's crazy. All right, so point 2. Enough of that. Rosenblatherings. Yeah, we got Zach Rosenblather. He did something. Well, he put out a podcast. And he comes on and goes, "Hello, everybody. My name is Zach Rosenblatt. And my name is Tim McMasturbator," or whatever his name is. "We're from The Athletic. And they tried to talk about coaching and schematics in the game as they try to talk about football and try to pretend like they know what they're talking about, which they don't. But, talk about the schematics of what the Jets were doing on defense and why it didn't work and so forth. Guys, it's the players. It's the players. It's the players. How do we know that? Well, if you're a Coffee with Frankie follower, which you should be, Sundays, 10 a.m., Coffee with Frankie, tune right in. Ever since Moochie got here and started acquiring these players in March and April and so forth and so on, the summertime, We've been telling you here on FSPN, giving you the straight dope, not falling for the stupid talking points of the media when they tried to tell you, these same people, Zach Rosenblather in particular, that don't worry, Jet fans. Sure, we signed a bunch of bums and doesn't look good, but the coaching's going to elevate the players. What? Yeah, the coaching. Well, how about the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick? He's going to elevate the University of North Carolina players, right? He's the greatest coach of all time. He's going to the ACC. Clearly, the coaching is going to elevate the program. Well, what happened? He went 4-8. Oh, what about the coaching? The coaching we've assembled, Zach Rosenblather tried to tell us all summer, we have assembled some of the greatest coaches, especially on the defense. Steve Wilkes and Dre Bly and all these people. Oh my goodness. Well, what happened? We have one of the worst defenses in the league. Why? Because the players aren't good enough, which is what I said. Because I was not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I don't have an agenda. By the way, FSPN, this channel, Frankie from Flatbush, we're not sponsored by anyone. Well, we don't have agents sending us text messages or direct messages. We don't have anyone sending us messages of any kind. So we're not compromised. We don't have to worry about relationships with agents so they give us scoops. We're not going to get any scoops here at FSPN. We don't have to worry about that. And that means I can just tell you how it is, what really is going to happen. And I told you what was going to happen, and then it happened. This keeps happening. It's not to brag, it's to tell you there's a value differentiation in the market between what's going on at FSPN and what's going on all these other fucking places. Just keep that in mind as you're thinking about, should I click the subscribe button? Should I click the subscribe button? I think you should for that reason. And another thing, they continue to reference things that have been debunked. So remember, Zach Rosenblather was the man who put out the false story about Zach Wilson declining to play, along with, it was a combo article with Dirty Diana Rossini, Gossip Girl herself. That's been debunked 100 times over, and they still reference it. It's terrible reporting. And then people like Badlands, has him on the payroll. Zach Rosenblather is on Joe Asaroso's payroll. And Will Parkinson's disease and those people have this man on their payroll. And some of you pay these people money to listen to their fucking opinions. Well, subscribing to the Frankie channel is free. So just keep that in mind. Now, cracks me up, man. Other Rosenblatherings, Mitchie Mechie seem to be on the roster for next year, but not a lock for playing time based on how they play. I don't know what Mitchell really did wrong in this game. They targeted him a bunch, but kept throwing it over his head and such. Mechie, though, the drops. Mechie with these drops. Eating too many dropsicles, Mr. Mechie. Now, we got to stop eating those dropsicles, because if Mechie could just catch, instead of calling yourself Mechie, we need to call yourself Catchy, because you need to catch the ball, you see. So now we're going to call you John Catchy, because we want you to be more catchy, Mechie, see? And that's what we need you to do. And if he would just do that, he would have put up some nice statistics, would have secured himself, would have been securing himself a roster spot next year and a role on the team. Now it's in jeopardy because too many droppings, Catchy. We're calling you Catchy. You can't be dropping the ball. Your name is Catchy. And then here you are dropping the ball on the ground. How can we call you Catchy if you can't catch, you understand? Sometimes we get a little passionate here on FSPN. But other than that, that was the whole podcast. Kind of unnecessary. We listen to these podcasts, by the way. You might say, why do you even listen to these idiots? Well, they do have sources. He does work for The Athletic, and The Athletic is owned by the New York Times, and the New York Times is 43% owned by Carlos Slim. Go Google him. Figure out what he's been up to. And then the other family that's owned it for like 200 years or whatever. So they so they have all of this money and all of the lawyers and all of the they have everything you could ever want. And if you think about the Athletic, they have beat reporters for every single team. So no matter what happens, you can just contact your colleague and get information. And because it's such a big publication, also the agents respect it, give people the info. Dinga danga dunga. They don't give it to FSPN because what am I going to do with it? Transmit it to 300 people who are going to watch this video. Crack myself up. Okay, that's it. That's it for that. Next topic. Ding, late breaking news and miscellaneous. Woo. Uh, so let's take a look at some other things. Like, let's take a look at. So let's check the wires for late breaking news. Okay, there is some late breaking news in the story of Chris Boyd. This is interesting. A person of interest is in custody in connection with the shooting of New York Jets Chris Boyd, per the New York Police Department. So they got somebody. So we'll see what happens, but at least it's possible that some shooter is now not on the loose. So we don't know that this person's the shooter. We just a person of interest, and they did not file charges or anything like that. So uh, we don't know what's going to happen, but that's the news. Per Dennis Wazak. Was. Dick Cimini has that Torrey Woodbury, who played for the Jets in 2001 and 2, I have no recollection of that, is the new head coach at Winston-Salem State, his alma mater. All right. Jets updated Pro Bowl fan voting. The Jets only have 2 in the top 10. We got to get to voting, guys. Punter Austin McNamara. I did my voting already. Punter Austin McNamara 5th. Fullback Andrew Beck 6th. I think we should vote for both of them. They both played very well. Why not push them up the rankings? Our special team's a way to kind of give a tip of the cap to Chris Banjo and Kevin O'Day. Nobody ever mentions Coach O'Day. So why not go vote for him? Go on it's NFL.com. It's figure out a way to vote. Clickety click. Easy. Go do it. Other than that, no other breaking news. So let's take a look at the PFF grades and see if there's anything we can glean from them. So a couple of things that's interesting on the offense. So 88.6 grade for Andrew Beck. So there's another reason to vote for him for the Pro Bowl. Only 8 snaps, but such is the life of a fullback. And he's also great on special teams. So 88.6, the highest rated offensive player. But then below him, Olu and Membu. Olu 75.6, Membu 69.7, excellent. Isaiah Williams, who's also going to be on the team, by the way, in the wide receiver room, there's no doubt about it now. 4th with a 67.8 grade. John Simpson had a nice game, 65.9. Joe Tippmann, kind of average, 61.3. And then, boy, our center, Myers, stinks. We need a big upgrade at center, boy. If we ever got Linderbaum, that would be a bomb. Because if we ever got Linderbaum, and then we signed either Simpson or AVT, and then would draft a backup type and just in case, that'd be solid as hell, man. It's not going to happen. It's too good to happen, but it'd be nice because Myers is the weak link on that line. Tyrod, terrible grade. Brady Cook, terrible grade. Jeremy Ruckert, bad grade. A.D. Mitchell, they graded poorly for some reason. But the offense obviously didn't look good at all. Then on defense, what do we got here? Michael Walker had a nice grade, so maybe he could work his way into more playing time. 77.4 led the grades. Jermaine Johnson, 76 with 2 pressures, no missed tackles. Jawan Briggs continues to play well, including a 91.9 pass rush grade, 72.5 overall. Michael Clemens had a nice grade. Then Sherwood. Kalen Saunders is a guy. He got a 70 grade in this game with 3 tackles, no missed tackles, 1 run stop. So that's a guy that, if he continues to play well, could earn himself a contract. Stigger's got a nice grade. Mawigoa, terrible. Jordan Clark, his first game, off the practice squad, 38.1, no bueno. Will McDonald continues to, he got no pressure. Will McDonald is disappearing before our very eyes. He is a role player. He's not a starting level player. We need edge players the worst way. And the only other thing I will mention about these PFF grades here is there are some encouraging stats for Brady Cook. And believe it or not, the way it started out, very bad. But he threw 2 picks. Okay, that's not great. He had fumbles. He was getting sacked like crazy. All right. A UDFA in his first game, that's what I told you to expect. And that's why we didn't want him to go in there. But there's actually some decent news in here. What kind of news? His completion percentage was 46.7, which is terrible. Yeah, but his adjusted completion percentage, if you forget about the drops, 60%. So still not great, but if those guys, he had 4 drops according to this. We had 5 overall according to PFF. So if those 4 guys just catch the ball, he has a 60% completion percentage, which still isn't good, but it's not horrible, like 46.7. In addition to that, he did have 1 big-time throw, which is a pass down the field in a tight window. That's good. 4 turnover-worthy plays is terrible. We understand that. But he also had an ADOT, average depth of target, of 9.3 yards, which is high, which means he was pushing the ball down the field. In addition to that, he had a TTT, or a time to throw, of 2.82, which is decent. So if you combine all these things, he was getting rid of the ball quickly, which means the mind game was okay, working pretty good. Meaning he wasn't confused. He wasn't double clutching and let me scrape out of here too much. A little bit, but not too much. 2.82, that's, good for him. This is his first game of a UDFA. He had 4 drops. 22.2% of his passes were dropped. That's no good. And he had an average depth of target of 9.3, so that means he wasn't being a check down Charlie. He wasn't throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage like a lot of these guys do when they first get started. He was pushing the ball down the field, and he had 1 big-time throw. You might say, what's the big deal about one? A lot of people don't even have any. Now, it wasn't good. I'm not saying it was good. It was what you'd expect, but there's some reason for hope here with him. Not that he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but that he could develop into your backup. What you'd want, and I don't often do this. This is more of a Badlands thing to do. So I try to avoid doing Badlands-ish things like this. Fuck myself up. But what you would want is Brady Cook to develop into Kellen Clemens. Basically, like, be the long-term backup. A backup guy comes in every now and then and can give you a game here and there. Somebody's out. That would be a tremendous success story for a UDFA like Brady Cook. And some of these numbers here suggest that could be possible. Because to survive in the NFL, you have to get rid of the ball quickly, which means you have to process quickly, which means you have to know what you're looking at pre-snap, you have to confirm it post-snap, and then be able to get rid of the ball and then throw it accurately and on time. Sounds simple. Obviously, it's not. It's very, very hard. That's why so few people can do it. But a 2.82 TTT is promising, especially when you consider that an ADOT of 9.3 is also present here. So the longer developing routes where you'd have to throw it downfield take longer, and to keep your TTT low and your ADOT high, that is an encouraging sign. Does it mean he's going to be good? No. Does it mean that's going to continue? No. Does it mean he should get the starting job next year? No. But it's encouraging for a guy like this. It didn't go well. He threw 2 picks. He had 4 turnover-worthy plays. It's all not good. 47% completion percentage. Okay, very bad. But within that, there is some signs of hope. That's what I'm saying. That he could be an NFL quarterback. Let's put it that way. And so for a first maiden voyage, where the receivers didn't help him out much and dropping it all over the place, not bad. And then you had, on top of the statistics, you had Isaiah Williams giving us some information. He encouraged his guy, Brady Cook. And what we didn't know about Isaiah Williams is that Isaiah Williams and Brady Cook grew up together in St. Louis. They knew each other growing up as kids. What? Yeah. And Isaiah Williams said at that time he was a quarterback. Little Isaiah Williams was a quarterback. And so was Brady Cook. And they were, in the same circles. They knew each other. They were, I don't know if they were buddies or what, but they at least knew each other. They were in the same circles, probably going to camps and whatnot. And he said he has the it factor. Now, who knows if he has the it factor? Ocho Stinko told us that Zach Wilson had the it factor, if you remember. Ocho Stinko, one of the biggest Zach Wilson fans out there. Why? I don't know. You'd think Ocho Stinko would know about these quarterbacks, but goes to show just because you play the game doesn't mean you know how to scout the game. Let's put it that way. But, so Isaiah Williams has a connection to Brady Cook. They grew up together. He said he's got the it factor. He said the wide receivers were impressed with Brady Cook, how he was handling the huddle, the play call, all the stuff. So that's good. That's it. Kind of interesting. That's good. And we'll see how it goes this week. AG would not commit to who's going to be the quarterback this week. There's too many injuries. Fields has a knee. Tyrod has a groin. Brady turned his ankle. So they all have various degrees of injury. So we do have a couple of spots on the practice squad available. Depending on what happens with Garrett, I would anticipate signing like a Desmond Ridder. Probably tomorrow you get the news Desmond Ridder signs with Jets practice squad, just to have another guy here, just in case, and that's the type of guy that's been floating around various places, unless he signs somebody else's practice squad. But, that's a type of guy that we'll probably see signing. And that'll do it for Monday. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. For the love of God. If you enjoy what I do, if you think this is differentiated in the marketplace, please confirm that by clicking the subscribe button. We need confirmation that what we're doing here is good. Not just a bunch of blatherings like Zach Rosenblatt. Otherwise, just give a like on the video and consider joining the Inner Circle, where you can get exclusive member items. And I will see you next time.